Most of our experience, our thinking, and our knowledge is organized as stories. For millennia, folks, we didn't have books, so how did we pass information on? How did we pass information on? We did it by telling stories, and we had dances and songs, and this is how we gave the next generation that information. It's in our species, folks. We are wired for the story. It wasn't long ago when we were in school, if we wanted to know something, we'd just walk up to the librarian or the educator, because they had all the information, didn't they? The student had to go and ask for the information, right? That's all we had to do. Go ask for the answer. They had it. Not anymore, folks. It's now, this information is so easily had. You can Google anything you want. So it's in the story where the information becomes valuable. Remember 23? 23 becomes valuable because there's a story around it. And that's what makes it stick to the digital native. It's really, guys, what we're seeing now is the shift between the information age and the conceptual age. If you guys have not read Daniel Pink's book, just out of curiosity, just nod if you've read it. I want you to raise hands. Okay. Those of you who are not nodding, wow. You need to read this, okay? Because it really it helps you understand the shift between information age and conceptual age. It's going to help you understand these digital days, and important, it's going to help you understand the high concept, high touch type jobs that are really what we need to be preparing our students for today. Because those are the jobs that will be here for them. They are the jobs that do not get outsourced. So if you just think about it that way, in just a pure economic way. You want to do the best you can for your kids, your students, your learners, you need to read this book. Inside this book is really interesting. He talks about six senses. And one of the things I'm not going to go through all of this here with you, but there's really interesting that he talks about the importance of design in that it's just moving beyond just function. I mean, Target now sells I saw this thing. Target sells this toilet bowl brush. That is highly designed. Why do we care? It's a toilet bowl brush. Don't you take this like that? Isn't that what you do it for? Why? Because design now matters. It matters especially to those digital natives, all who want to personalize things. Story, narrative. Narrative added to the products and services. It's not just about argument. It's about appealing to the best of the senses. The storyline is important. Story brings together all the senses. Story brings together the purpose and the value of something. It's not about the data. This car will drive 150 miles an hour on a tank of gas. You gotta have a story. You gotta have a story to make that sell. Empathy. One of the other things talked about here is empathy. And I think it's really important today because of the global collaboration, because you're building these teams and these giant relationships. What is it about your best friends and people you work with that makes you feel comfortable sharing information with them? The fact that they empathize with you. The fact that you feel connected with them. That's that empathy thing. The bigger this world gets for connection, the more important empathy is going to become. And folks, play, humor, playful. That is so important. Our world moves so fast these days, it's so big. It's that play that really helps do what? Humanize all that experience for us. Guys, any of you who have students who are getting ready to go into the career world or in the career world, you got to read Johnny Bunko. Got to read Johnny Bunko. It's great. It's the manga style. It fits exactly what these students need to understand for the job world today. Thomas Friedman, World is Flat. I don't have a picture for that one. It's a great book. But folks, the world became flat with these students during the digital native lives. The world became flat. What the world of flat is, really talks about, you got to read it. You've read nods. How many people have read it? Okay, good. More. This is really important, folks, because this world of flat works both ways. In the world of flat, he kind of talks about how now India and China and all these other parts of the world can now start to outsource jobs, right? But folks, it can work both ways. We can now have our students who have these high concept type skill sets be able to outsource to other places in the world too. And in fact, I argue that people in central Kansas can work for people in Los Angeles all through the internet now, all connected. They can. That world is flat for everybody. It's not going to just benefit the third world that's coming up. It benefits all of us. You ask a student to tell you about a video game, they will tell you what? A story. The power of the story, and I argue, folks, this is really a news story today. For our digital natives, we're going to reach out to them, it's a news story. And the news story is personal, and it's interactive. It is within the story that we can give the digital native the world. And what I mean by that is we can also talk to them about those soft skills, we can help them understand and put things in perspective and ethics and show them integrity and show them the way the world should be and how they want the world to be. They get to live in that, inside that interactive story. So where does the educator come into play for this? So are we working ourselves out of a job by doing this, by e-learning? Are we giving up all the secret sauce? No. We become part of the story and we become the expert learner. They need us. They need to understand how to learn. They need to learn. They need to understand from our wisdom that how you navigate in that world. We can really help them with those things. We will never be able to keep up with all the technology they can. Give that up. Let them have that. You guys can help them understand and process through the way the world works. And that's a gift that is so much more important than a few technical skills. Once upon a time, the power of story released through e-learning, folks. There we go. That's my presentation. We'll have it for questions now. So thanks for listening. So questions. And I will go ahead and say right now, I apologize. I'm not necessarily the sharpest pencil in the box. So,
as a digital immigrant that probably can't even get access to being a citizen, I have a question about the concern I have is everything you're describing as far as the shifts and the trends, all of us would agree are happening and has been happening, and is still happening. The depth that we grew up with, the depth of learning as compared to a soundbite tendency that we see. I need experts such as yourself to help me to understand how I get that interest in the depth into the current group. Now, I do see that the younger kids, I mean, I'm talking about people 8, 9, 10-year-olds, seem to be going more in depth. But it's the teenagers and the ones we have in our classes that may be looking for that quick Google soundbite. And I need people like you to help me to figure out how to make that transition.
I mean, that's a complicated one. But let me tell you the kind of what we do and the direction we take with that. And you guys are wiser than me about the way the world works, so this is just the way we do it. It goes back to what Daniel P. talked about, the power of the story and that narrative piece. If you start to build a story, you'll start to see the digital native go do more research. Yes, the first research will be a 2-second soundbite. But once you get them intrigued, they start researching, and they keep researching, they keep researching. One of the problems I have with my digital natives sometimes is actually they keep on researching. They don't know when to stop. Because research is so simple for them to do. And so it's so sexy that you find one piece of information that then you've got these 5 other opportunities there, and you go follow another one, and you can follow another one. And what you'll see them is they do lots of research. If you get them excited about what that topic is. But I promise you, without getting them excited, they'll stay with those 2-second sound bites. So for the educator, what story are you telling that makes that piece of information really intriguing, that makes it mysterious and interesting? That's the best I have for you. That's what we do in our simulations. We do a lot of, it's all story-based. So we set things up and we offer them enough information, we give them just enough rope, so to speak, and then they pursue on. And it's inside it's inside the purpose of the product that they then express the other information that they've gained. So having them create something will force them to go and learn more things. So does that kind of help answer it? So, other questions, folks? Yeah.
Hi, I'm a high school library media specialist in Olathe.
Oh.
And we're absolutely turning our kids off to learning, and it's a real shame, but we see that all the time. Their bodies, they're placeholders through the day, waiting for the day to go by so they can go back to their real lives. And the iPod thing is, they keep trying to not have iPods at our school because they think it takes away from learning. And one teacher the other day was saying, well, I don't like lecturing in front of a class, and I'll see that they've taken out one earbud, but they've left the other one in. I don't feel like they're giving me their whole attention. But that's their learning style, is to have that fractured attention going in a lot of different directions.
Yeah, I agree. There's times when you have to bring them together and focus.
It takes training in front of directions.
Yeah, there's times
a lot of different directions.
Focus.
Whole attention. That's their learning. I feel like
figure out how
whole attention. That's their learning. I feel like
figure out how
whole attention. That's their learning. I feel like
figure out how
whole attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like
figure out how to
full attention. That's their mind. I feel like